A gift from the heart. The soft hum of the holiday music played in the background as Elisa carefully wrapped the last of the gifts in the cozy living room. It was that time of year again, the time when the air was filled with the scent of cinnamon and pine, when laughter echoed through the house as the family prepared for the coming festival. Elisa had always loved this part of the year, the joy of giving, of sharing love and kindness with those who meant the most to her. But today, as she folded a colorful scarf into a neat little package, her 8-year-old daughter Sophia, who had been quietly playing with her toys on the floor, suddenly looked up from her game. "Mom, why do we give gifts to people on holidays and special occasions?" Sophia asked, her voice filled with curiosity. Elisa paused for a moment, looking up from her work. Sophia's big brown eyes were wide with wonder, and Elisa smiled at the question. She had been expecting it. Sophia was growing older now and beginning to understand the world around her in new ways. It was time to share something special about the tradition of gift-giving. "That's a very good question, sweetie," Elisa said, setting aside the gift wrap and sitting down beside her daughter on the floor. "We give gifts to show people that we care about them. It's a way to make them feel loved and appreciated." Sophia tilted her head to the side, looking thoughtful. "But why can't we just say I love you or thank you? Doesn't that mean the same thing?" Elisa chuckled softly. "You're right, Sophia. Saying I love you and thank you are very important, and they mean a lot. But gifts are a way of showing those feelings in a more special way. When you give someone a gift, it's like you're saying, I thought about you, and I want to make you happy. A gift can sometimes speak louder than words." Sophia nodded slowly but still seemed a little puzzled. "So it's not about giving expensive things, then?" "No, not at all," Elisa said, shaking her head. "The best gifts don't have to be expensive. They just need to be something that's meaningful to the person you're giving it to. A gift can be something small, but if it's something they truly need or something that will bring them joy, that's what makes it special." Sophia's face lit up with understanding. "So, like when Grandma needed a new sweater last year and we gave her that warm one?" "Exactly." Elisa smiled. "You know how Grandma loves cozy sweaters, and she had been talking about how her old one was getting worn out. When we gave her that soft new one, it wasn't just the sweater that made her happy. It was the fact that we listened to her and thought about what would make her feel comfortable and loved." Sophia thought for a moment, her eyes sparkling. "So gifts are about giving something useful, something that shows you care about what the person needs." "Yes, sweetie. That's exactly right," Elisa said, her heart swelling with pride. "A gift doesn't need to be fancy. What matters most is that it comes from the heart and is something the person will truly appreciate." Sophia's mind was buzzing with ideas. The next day at school, she would have the chance to put this new understanding of gift-giving into practice. There was a group of little orphan children at her school, and she had always wanted to do something special for them. She had often seen them sitting alone during lunch, and they looked so small and lonely. Sophia wanted to help them, to make them feel loved and cared for, just as her mother had shown her the importance of doing. As Sophia lay in bed that night, she thought about what she could give. She knew that they didn't have the things that she did: a warm jacket, enough food, and even just someone to talk to. But she also knew that the best gifts weren't always the ones that cost money. She wanted to give them something useful, something they would need and cherish. The next morning, Sophia got up early, her heart racing with excitement. She went to her room and looked through her things. There, on the shelf, was a stack of gently used books she had outgrown. They were her favorites, and she remembered how much she had loved them when she was younger. Sophia smiled to herself and grabbed the pile of books, knowing they would be perfect for the little ones at school. She also found a few old toys that she no longer played with, some stuffed animals, a doll that had always comforted her, and a set of building blocks that had been her favorite. They weren't new, but they were still in good condition, and Sophia knew that they could bring joy to the children who didn't have many toys of their own. When Sophia arrived at school that morning, she felt a flutter in her chest. She had already packed the books and toys in a little bag, and as she walked through the school gates, she saw the orphan children sitting by themselves, looking lonely. They were bundled up in old coats, their faces shy and quiet, unsure of how to interact with the other kids. Sophia walked over to them, her heart pounding with both excitement and nervousness. She smiled brightly as she knelt down beside the children. "Hi," Sophia said softly. I brought you something. The children looked up at her with wide, curious eyes. Sophia pulled out the first book and handed it to a small boy sitting next to her. I thought you might like this, she said, her voice gentle. The boy looked at the cover of the book, his face lighting up in surprise. Thank you, he whispered, his voice barely audible but full of warmth. Sophia smiled and handed out the rest of the books and toys to the other children. Each of them looked at the gifts with awe, and one by one, they hugged their new treasures close. It wasn't just the books or the toys that made them smile. It was the feeling of being seen, of knowing someone cared. As Sophia stood there, watching the children play with their new toys and eagerly flipping through the pages of their books, she felt a deep warmth in her heart. She realized that her mother was right. Giving a gift from the heart, something that was truly useful to the person you're giving it to, was the most meaningful way to show love. That evening, as Sophia snuggled under her covers, she couldn't wait to tell her mother about the smiles she had seen today. Elisa was right, Sophia thought as she closed her eyes. Gifts weren't just about the objects. They were about the love behind them and the joy they brought to others. Sophia had learned that true giving came from the heart, and it wasn't about the price tag, but about making a difference in someone's life. And she knew, now more than ever, that she would carry that lesson with her for the rest of her life. In that simple, yet profound moment, Sophia understood what it meant to truly give,